Good morning, lads and ladies. Welcome back to another video. It's been a while for me. I haven't been able to do these videos for a long time, but I thought, hey, let's try and get this started up again. The channel's there, everything's done. All we have to do is literally just make videos. So let's see how long I keep it at this time. Obviously, my main excuse for not getting videos out is because of med school. That's my entire personality trait, so I thought, you know what, let's see if I can just make some more videos just about med school. Maybe that's the way to go. So, as you probably already know, I am a student at the University of Limerick, med school, School of Medicine in Ireland, and I'm loving it. It's a pretty good school. Lots of content, lots of good people, learning lots, and generally having a good time. So I thought I'd kind of make this video a year in. I've just started second year about a month ago, and I thought I'd see what I feel about it and let you guys know as well how I'm finding it so far. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the style of learning. So here, it's kind of a mixed style of learning. Mainly it's PBL, problem-based learning. In some unis it'll be called case-based learning. They're pretty much the same thing. Like every week we get a new case, or every week we get a new problem, and it's a patient walking in to the GP clinic usually, or into A&E, and they present with some symptoms, and we'll have a kind of a discussion and see what we think is going on with the patient. So it's a really fun kind of way of learning. There's no kind of preparation you have to do for that part of the session, because you're building up your medical knowledge in general anyway, right? With each week, as each week passes, you're building up what you know about the human body a little bit more, and you're piecing the puzzle together a little bit by yourself anyway. So when a patient comes in with shortness of breath and chest pain, okay, you know the first thing you're thinking about is cardio arrest, and with chest pain, you know the first thing you're thinking is it heart attack potentially, for example. So that's the biggest red flag for it. Obviously, loads of different things could be going on, but that's just kind of an example of how you're building up what you think could be going on. So yeah, it's a pretty good way of learning, and it's definitely very tough for the first year, where we're learning about so many different systems, and it's not made for people. It's not like, it doesn't require everyone to have some kind of medical background. Obviously some people do, and it's quite good. There's some nurses here, some physios. My undergrad was in applied medical sciences, so sometimes that does help, but there are some people here that have no medical background. So it's catered for everyone, which is quite good. It gives me as well, for example, like medical background people, gives everyone a chance to kind of reflect, or go back down to the foundations, and make sure everyone's on the same page. So that's quite good. And yeah, the way we learn through PBL it's very interactive. It's definitely at the start, like whenever there's a new group, there's a big feeling of, everyone's very motivated to like put some work in and not look like they don't know what's going on. But after a little while, everyone kind of realizes that, everyone's made it to med school, everyone's relatively equally smart-ish. Obviously, like people like me, a bit smarter, but you know how it is. So yeah, there's a lot going on in terms of the content. Some weeks are really busy, some weeks are a little bit lighter, like this week, and different groups will kind of do their learning differently as well. Like some groups will do a lot of their learning in the first half of the week and have a lighter weekend, which is quite good for like a work-life balance, and other groups have kind of split it 50-50, which also has its advantages and disadvantages. So you're very much in control of your learning, which I quite like about this course. It's not completely driven by lectures where every week you've just got another set of 200 slides, 300 slides, and you're just having to go through them and just memorize everything by yourself. There are some lectures, it's not like we don't have any lectures, but they always do supplement what we're already talking about in the class, so it's much more engaging that way. So I think that kind of integrated way of learning works quite well. Okay, the second thing I wanted to talk about was kind of the difficulty of the content. Obviously, it is medicine, it is quite tough, but there are plenty of like support structures available. Like the biggest support structure is just your colleagues, everyone else around you, and like everyone's in the same boat, everyone's got exactly the same cases, and most of the time everyone's had the same discussion in the PBL session as well. So it's a very, like, there's a very strong feeling of community in the course, which I think is really cool. And yeah, like some weeks obviously will be really hard, like the first years at the moment, or a few weeks ago, were going through pretty much what is probably the hardest part of the year, definitely the hardest part of the semester. They were doing a lot of embryology, and you do get thrown right into the deep end. So they're doing a lot of embryology, so they've just come out of that, and it does kind of give you a little bit of confidence, weirdly, where obviously, so it's quite hard, embryology is very hard, but you've learned all of that now and you do feel much more confident in yourself. And then going into second year now, we'll review bits of embryology here and there. All the cardio stuff we did last year, we'll review that. All the rest stuff we did, we've just been reviewing that as well. It does feel quite good that, you know, I have learned something, even though it might not feel like it in the moment. So yeah, generally, you start off very much in the deep end, and you start off feeling like you know nothing, but then you kind of learn subconsciously, which is quite weird. Like obviously you're putting the effort in and you are learning there and then, but it does go into your long-term memory slowly. Here are my top 3 favourite things about studying medicine here in Limerick. The first thing is gotta be the campus. The campus is so beautiful, so much greenery around it, and a lot of the buildings are designed in funky ways, which, you know, doesn't always suit everyone, but I like the fact that they've tried something cool. And yeah, it's generally a pretty cool place to be. Lots of fresh air, quite quiet. My next favourite thing about studying medicine here, or just being here in general, is definitely the people. The people are so nice, so helpful, and just generally so welcoming. I've just really enjoyed getting to make friends with people from across the world. It's great fun. There's always something going on. Definitely a good time with these people here. And then thirdly, I feel like, you know, in this medicine video I've got to talk a little bit about the medicine itself. So about studying medicine, I think one thing I really like is, as I kind of already mentioned, is the fact that each case, each week is so different from the last, and you're never bored. You'll do one thing, you'll do it for a week, you'll learn it, you'll know it really well, and you'll move on to the next thing. And it's very fast paced. The fact that it's so quick, it's so fast. Like time flies by. Even this year, I've learned so much, but it doesn't feel like I've been here for a month and a half. And now, let's move on to my 3 least favourite things about studying medicine here. My first thing has got to be the way that we learn anatomy here. Well, firstly, I feel like we don't really learn that much anatomy here. It's so self-directed, but we don't, like, there's not really that much direction as to what we should be even learning. We just, I don't know, it's like we don't get any kind of really hands-on experience with cadavers. And I've had experience with cadavers in my undergrad at Swansea, and I still remember so much anatomy from back then, or at least just the feeling of it. Like, anatomy was definitely my favourite, like, class to go into. But now, like, I'll go in feeling so apathetic and I'll leave. Sure, I might have, like, the professors themselves are great. It's not the fact that they don't teach well. It's like the overall structure of the anatomy teaching. I don't feel like I know any anatomy. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I don't like about medicine here is the lack of clinical exposure. It's the fact that I've got friends in other med schools that have just started this year, they've just gone into first year, and they've already got more clinical exposure than me. They've met real patients, they've gone to GP settings, and they've already met real patients and shadow doctors and kind of seeing patients. Obviously, I know what a patient is. We talk about patients in the PBL session, but every patient is so different, and yeah, it does fall behind a little bit. And my third least favorite thing has got to be just the physical kind of lack of space in the med school. So I'm in second year now, and the school's growing. They've accepted about 190 students into first year this year, compared to about the 140 we had in my year. So obviously there's more students here, but the building isn't growing. So it's much harder to find a room to study in, and it's all around a pain to be able to find somewhere to study. The library is about a 20-minute walk away, which is fun. Like, I enjoy the walk, or just getting to the other side of campus, which is much more active. But the fact that that is often a necessity is not my favourite thing. So that's definitely another thing that I don't enjoy about being at Limerick. But yeah, like, overall, it is a pretty good program. Like, I'm definitely learning lots, but just internally I feel like applying that to real patients in the real world, in real hospitals, I don't feel comfortable about myself in that regard yet. But I definitely feel like I know what would be going on in their body, but what do I do about it is kind of my position at the moment, which maybe is just a normal thing to be in, and maybe that's not a critique, but I don't know. That's just where I am at the moment. But yeah, overall, like, pretty good med school. Learning is fun, people are fun, campus is fun, always plenty going on. Thanks for watching, everyone. I obviously haven't edited down yet, but I feel like this is probably going to be one of the longer videos, so thanks for sticking by till the end. Let me know in the comments what kind of videos you want to see from me here. So like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.